What's up, YouTube? So, I'm not as energetic as I normally am. I actually, unfortunately, have some sort of cold, which sucks. But I really, really want to do a video tonight. I had all of the intentions of the world of uploading the same video with my iPhone. But, as it turns out, it was smart of me to basically switch over to the cheaper phone because now this one won't even hold a charge, which is fantastic. The iPhone 6s Plus, whereas this one gets me through pretty much the whole day. And if it can't, it certainly charges quick enough where I don't have to have a problem. Anyways, moving on. Today I want to talk about something that I want to just throw out there for people who buy Nintendo products and everything, including myself. Absolutely knew this was going to happen. Now, recently they announced the news where they're going to discontinue the NES Mini, which I am at all 100% not surprised. And why am I not surprised that they discontinued the NES Mini? In my perception, I think this was planned. I personally think that this was planned. The first reason is they made it really, really limited at launch. And I believe personally that they've artificially done this. I think they could make a bunch of these units. I don't think there's any reason why they can't. You can make a Raspberry Pi with a lot of emulators in it, and you don't need much. So I don't think production was an issue that most people were saying. So we'll start there. This was done artificially. This was done to create hype. And that's kind of what I expected. The second thing is, number two, is the fact that the devices themselves were discontinued, obviously. So what happened is that any hype, or any news, I should say, is good news for Nintendo, whether it be bad or not bad, if you catch my drift. Anything in terms of press is good for Nintendo. They want the press. They want people watching them, whether it be a positive thing or a negative thing. But one thing is true about this Nintendo Switch, with a Nintendo Entertainment System Mini, NES Mini. It certainly brought Nintendo on its hype because it took advantage of people who really liked the era from the NES series, or retro gamers. Now, I'm not upset personally that I don't have a NES Mini because I have so many alternatives to it. Is it a cool collector's item at this point? Yeah. And what Nintendo has done in the past with Game Freak, with other vendors, is they've released limited products. A lot of times related to their consoles. Like, for example, the Game Boy Advance had a lot of limited runs. Like the Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories run, where a vendor or a company works with another company to release something temporarily. And I knew this the minute that these devices were released. I knew this was not going to be on the shelves forever. And yeah, it doesn't surprise me. In fact, other companies have done this as well. So to be honest, I'm not surprised at this. So that is the second reason, is because they wanted to create any type of news that they could for themselves. And that's part of it. That's a good chunk of it. Now, the third reason is obviously they want to sell another product afterwards. And that is, rumors are going around that they're going to have a Super NES Classic. And by the way, I suggest if you really, really have to have this device, that you go and pick it up because it's going to be sold out. That's kind of the way Nintendo's been doing things lately, especially with the Nintendo Switch lineup, and also with, obviously, the Mini NES. And this is all artificial. This is done to create hype. This is done to get people wanting more. And in a marketing aspect, it makes sense. Nintendo's stocks are doing, actually, I think they're doing pretty well, due to all of this actually occurring, ironically enough. And what's pushing them forward is to keep doing this. So they're working on a product, and they're seeing from their end that it's working, and why would they not try it again if it worked the first time in terms of sales and everything else like that? I don't believe that they I believe they have actually purposely done this. And it makes sense. I knew this was going to happen from the minute they released the product itself. So, now those are my thoughts on this. It's very basic. Nintendo did this purposely. They're going to sell another one. They're going to do the same thing. Mark my words on this. If they release a Super Nintendo, this will be the same type of thing. Just like other companies have released limited runs on products before, Nintendo will do this and repeat and make a lot of money, in effect, and so will scalpers. So, those are my thoughts. I do think that this was all part of Nintendo's plan. I'm not missing an NES Classic. I have phones that can run emulation. I have Raspberry Pis that can run emulation. I even have a Nintendo Wii. I don't need a million different ways to play classic games. But for those of you who do care, go ahead, look up when you can, purchase the Super Nintendo, because that will be, they'll stop that too. And who knows what they'll go on to next. Anyways, thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you disliked it, give it a thumbs down. Otherwise, stay tuned for more videos.